With humanity confronting the imminent danger of world destruction, will we succumb to the numbing slavery of the dark force or rise to the challenge with our God-given spirit of compassion? As our hearts yearn to know our destiny, we turn to the clues and messages left by seers, saints, and prophets of the past and present, as well as from the stars. While their prophecies contain different cultural references and historical contexts, they share a common theme that when the final battle of light and darkness takes place in the end times, a powerful Savior or Messiah or Holy King will return to guide us out of calamity. The question is, how do we recognize the Savior when he or she is here, and what is our role in this critical time of the earth? In our series, Awaken True Love with the Savior to Dissolve Calamity, we will compare different prophecies and find the answers together. As we discussed in the last episode, our most beloved Supreme Master Qinghai, vegan, is the prophesied Maitreya Buddha, vegan, and King of Shambhala. Therefore, she is the commander-in-chief of the peaceful Shambhala warriors who follow her to battle the dark force with love and selfless service. As early as 1992, Master gave inspirational advice to all of our association members on how to conduct ourselves during this extraordinary time of upheaval.
Soon, many of you, most of you, or all of you have to be the leaders of your environment, leading mankind into a new way of thinking, new way of living. We have to show a shining example of sacrifice and true love. So, regardless of all your small obstacles in your meditation practice or in your daily dealing with the world, regardless of your mood, of your frustration, of your personal emotion and anger, fear, sorrow, we have to move on with the greater ideal, with a better, nobler goal. We have to keep this noble goal in mind and forget about the small thorns and the small pebbles and stones along the road. We have to wear big shoes, big boots, and walk on all the thorns. These big boots of protection are our determination to be noble, to serve in face of difficulties and frustration, in face of tests of courage and faith. We must be greater than we imagine we could be. We must be better than what we expect our neighbors to be. We must sacrifice more than we can demand from our neighbors or our close people, our associates. Only in this way we can show others how to be noble, how to sacrifice, how to love. We have to sacrifice in such a natural way, in such a repeated cycle, until we do it without knowing that we sacrifice, until we sacrifice without thinking that we sacrifice, until the word sacrifice doesn't mean anything to us at all, because we do things in such a natural, automatic way. Only in such a vision of the word can we become one of the leading planets in this universe. Only in such a vision that we do not need to go to nirvana. We should keep this vision in mind. and make our world a paradise.
For now, as the spiritual development of the citizens on Earth's surface is yet to catch up with that of the kingdom of Shambhala, the mysterious kingdom remains guarded and is forbidden to the outside world. Many have searched for it, but few have succeeded. For example, people have noticed strange phenomena around Mount Kailash, which is in proximity to Shambhala.
Among the many mysteries surrounding Mount Kailash, perhaps the most intriguing are the tales related to time. Pilgrims and a handful of explorers who dared to venture into the region have returned with peculiar stories. Accelerated aging, the most common legend, 12 hours spent near the mountain equate to 2 weeks of normal time. Anecdotes of hair and nails growing at an unusual rate. Is it time warping or merely a product of high altitude, extreme weather and the power of suggestion? For a pilgrim, accelerated time could be a metaphor, a lifetime of transformation compressed into a brief period. When we gaze upon Mount Kailash, one feature immediately captures our attention: its form. It is an almost perfect pyramid. Its northern, eastern, southern and western faces appear to align with the cardinal directions. This symmetry has given rise to one of the most contentious theories. Some researchers contend that the mountain is a colossal man-made pyramid constructed by an unknown ancient civilization. Proponents assert that the distinct layers appear like laid blocks, with surfaces smooth and geometrically lined. It is suggested that the mountain and its ridges form a colossal diagram, even serving as the center and power source of a global pyramid system. There are even claims that its interior is hollow, filled with chambers and passages containing sarcophagi of ancient builders or other beings. Time distortion and unusual magnetic fields are attributed to a device operating deep within.
US telepathic communicator and author Diane Robbins revealed astounding details through her contact with the civilizations of inner Earth.
All planets are hollow with openings at the north and south poles. And our north and south pole has cloud covers. And the people inside have put an electromagnetic force field around the openings so airplanes cannot get in.
Miss Robbins mentioned a central city, Shambhala, inside the Earth in her book Telos, first transmissions ever received from the subterranean city beneath Mount Shasta. She received telepathic information from Adama, the high priest of Telos, a city said to have existed beneath Mount Shasta for about 12,000 years.
The governing city within the inner Earth is called Shambhala. It is located inside the very center of the planet and can be accessed through holes at either the north or south pole of this planet. The northern and southern lights that we see in our skies are actually reflections of Earth's inner central sun emanating from her hollow core. There are over 120 subterranean cities located within the Earth's crust. These cities of light are not far beneath the Earth's surface. As a grouping, these cities are called the Agartha network. The inner Earth beings are highly evolved beings living on the interior surface of the hollow Earth. They are mostly ascended souls who have chosen to continue their evolution in the Earth's inner recesses because of the perfection of conditions existing there.
Adamas describes the lifestyle of the inner Earth beings.
The hollow Earth is a paradise with tall, graceful mountains jutting into the sky and large, clear, clean lakes and oceans that abound with life. The diet in the hollow Earth is strictly vegetarian, and people are healthy, robust and strong. They too have isolated themselves from the surface population, although they come and leave the Earth freely using the spacecraft that are kept there in the spaceport in the inside of the Earth. So although they are inside the Earth, they have freedom and health and abundance and peace, all the necessary components of life that you on the surface have been crying out for.
Our most beloved Supreme Master Qinghai also confirmed the benevolent nature and lifestyle of the citizens living inside the earth.
Master, will the people living underground ever come out to the surface to live? Or will it never be safe enough for them?
Well, it depends on humanity, the humans on this planet, on the surface, okay? If we become more kind, more generous, more peaceful, then maybe they just come up, okay? But there are many of them who come up and down already, yeah? Just They come up and down, but not many of them want to come and stay with us. Our world is too polluted for them and too unkind. They are completely vegan, you know. They don't like war. They love animals. They love each other. They are completely different from us. That's why they cannot come and stay long in this very coarse atmosphere of our surface of the planet. Huh? Okay.
Yes, Master.
We have to speed up and be good, and then they come. Or we can come visit them.
However, as of now, there remains a vast gap between the lifestyle of the outer earth and the inner earth. A large population of the outer earth has not adopted the compassionate vegan diet yet. In May 2026, a member of our Supreme Master Qinghai International Association, all vegans, received a warning message from the King of Shambhala.
当我心中思及香巴拉时，香巴拉王现身说：“我有重要的事情要请你转达给人类。”我恭敬地回应：“请香巴拉王示下。”他面露怒色，很生气地对着地球人类传达讯息。
香巴拉生生世世守护地球，但现在已经快守不下去了。地球是个美丽的星球，非常值得我们爱护。不过现在居于其上的人类蹂躏这星球，我们的好心不是为恶人准备的。若我们执意护住地球，那似乎是为虎作伥。我们维护的是地球的和平、美丽与公义。然而地球人类毫不悔改，视天堂的加持为理所应当，这样的残酷人类我们守护不下去。因此，若是人类再执意做这些残杀动物族人与同类的事情，我们将从香巴拉撤退。古预言说，在末世，香巴拉王将会率领他的战士为地球而战，不过那是为了公义之人而战。若你们继续残害众生与自己同类，我们将抹除这个预言。不是我们不应许预言，是你们人类太无天理天道。这样的人若我们还支持，便是支持黑暗的世界。所以香巴拉将对地球人发出最后的警告。原本我们的任务是维持地球的能量平衡，但若你们不听从青海无上师的建议，快快改持纯素，我们将不再维持地球的能量平衡。香巴拉这样一个美丽的角落，是给地球人类有一个对于天堂的向往，但地球已污秽不堪，这将迫使我们撤出地球。如你所知，很多地底世界都已撤离地球，因为受不了这样的残酷气氛，而且也是做地球毁灭前的预防性撤离。若是执意吃动物族人肉，战争，你们将不再得到我们的庇护，我们将弃你们而去。不是我们不为你们而战，是你们自甘堕落。我们将会去维护宇宙其他值得的星球，望你们自重。
If we, the citizens of the surface Earth, wish to continue to live on this planet, it's imperative for all of us to adopt the civilized vegan diet and turn away from the barbaric meat-eating habit. We thank the King of Shambhala for his timely warning, which echoes the guidance from our most beloved Supreme Master Qinghai. May all heed their precious and wise counsel, so that we may one day meet the advanced beings from inside the earth, expanding our horizons to include the more sublime plane of existence. Contemplative viewers, thank you for your company today.